TV holiday programmes can provide an invaluable bit of free promotion. They may seem independent, but most travel shows will end up showing the things the tour operators want you to see.
They're encouraged to certain places by operators, although that's not really upfront when they're producing the programme. And then they're very much guided by a single point of reference, a person who's a single point of reference for them, who is normally either from the tour company or from the tourism office. And they will take them into honeypot places, much more likely than any other sort of place that they're going to visit.
For Sunville, the opportunity to feature in a peak time holiday programme looked like a gift. All they had to do was provide the presenter and the crew with a nice holiday, and in return, Sunville would get a free advert. But the key to successful advertising is targeting, as Sunville Travel learned to its cost.
We had a piece on a fly drive holiday that we were doing in central Greece. This was on BBC holiday programme. We were ready to take a lot of calls. We thought we would be inundated. In those days we had answer phone machines, and we bought in extra answer phone machines to cope with the demand. In fact, we received 100 telephone calls, and seeing that cost us £6,000 or £7,000 to do, it was an expensive exercise. You have to know exactly what market you're in, and if you're showing something which is a bit out of the ordinary, a bit more expensive, something that isn't straightforward, then television is not the right place to promote it.
I've been in this job for 7 years, and during that time the holiday industry has just utterly transformed. We've seen a great deal of consolidation where big companies would swallow up smaller companies and clearly grow bigger as a result. Beforehand there were probably several dozen brands that you and I would recognise and think, oh yeah, I know someone who's been on a holiday with that. Now there's really 4 big companies that are organising holidays.
They don't control the whole of the market, but they're incredibly influential in the way that tourism presents itself to the customer, and they are the ones who most advertise. They've got major control over the television shows that present on holidays, as they offer cheap opportunities for the producers to go and film in certain countries.
If you go into any of their retail chains, like Going Places, Lund Poly, Thomas Cook, then you will be offered a range of holidays, but what you don't know is that a good proportion of that range actually belongs to them.
They own every aspect of the holiday, from walking in the travel agent, to going to stay in the hotel, every bit of it, including the airline.
The large companies own aeroplanes. The money comes from filling aeroplanes. They don't care where they send those aeroplanes. They don't care what they put in those aeroplanes, as long as those aeroplanes are flying.
What really divides the big players from the small niche companies is the all-inclusive holiday.
There's a big controversy about the benefits of package tourism to developing countries, and a lot of people say that the all-inclusive package is wrong and it doesn't spread the wealth amongst the whole community, and in fact a lot of it ends up coming back to the country of the rich corporation that organised the holiday.
All-inclusive is a new product, and generally you find lots of families like to go on those because the fact that the kids can have their ice creams and create and eat all day, and the entertainment's there for them.
The all-inclusive concept started by keeping wealthy holidaymakers in exotic locations within this compound so that they could have all the nice bits but none of the nasty shocks. The concept was then translated to the Mediterranean, which really doesn't have any of those problems. There is no risk, there's no security risk in Cyprus. Cyprus is probably one of the safest places in the world. But they want to offer this overall package as if they're doing a big favour to the travelling public.
Now, First Choice was one of the first operators to actually develop the all-inclusive concept in the short-haul destinations such as Spain, Greece and Portugal. Now, why they're very, very popular with our customers is the fact before a customer departs, they know exactly what they've booked and they've paid for everything.
The tourists may gain, but do the locals lose out?
Some people complained about all-inclusive in the sense that it doesn't actually provide tourist dollars or tourist money to the local economy. Well, certain resorts customers wouldn't go to if there wasn't all-inclusive because they wouldn't feel safe and secure in that area. And you mustn't forget the fact that the people actually servicing the customers are locals. They're the people working in the restaurants and the kitchens, etc.
They would never actually say, we're going to take you to the Gambia, but we'll do it in such a way that you never have to meet any of those West African people. Clearly they wouldn't do that. However, I have been to places, for instance, Cuba, wonderful country, very easy to get around, easygoing people, marvellous. And at the welcome meeting, the rep actually said, well, of course, I wouldn't actually go out of the resort if I were you, and if you do, whatever you do, get a taxi. Whereas you walk 10 yards down the road to the bus stop, hop on the bus, it will cost you twopence, you can go wherever you want to and you'll meet all the local people. That's the sort of attitude which I think persists.
We're fiercely against all-inclusive hotels, and we, apart from a few in the Caribbean, we don't feature all-inclusive hotels. We've worked closely with the Cyprus Tourism Organisation to try and reverse the trend in Cyprus for all